Yeah, I think it's as a team it means a lot because it's Roger's 50th of running of the team, um, and yeah, it's obviously going to be a lot more media attention and attention around this race. But at the end of the day, you put your head down and you know get the car and everything in a position to win it. It would be just obviously phenomenal to win the 100th running. It would be, but I don't think you want to focus on the fact that it's the 100th. You just want to focus on the race itself.
Juan, same.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna work harder this year because of 100, it means you haven't been doing your job. Oh, I think being the 50th year of racing for Roger, I think is very special. Um, so both matching here is going to be a big deal for the team. But from the racing side, for me, it's the same. I mean, it's the same freaking out about what we need to do, how we need to prepare, what are we missing, are we all set, can we do anything better? Normal. Like anything with motorsport with an engine, this is the best show you're gonna get. Great racing, very close racing. It's very unpredictable who's gonna win, and it makes it fun. Makes it fun for us, and it makes it fun for the fans. It's huge. We work really hard. We really pay a lot of attention to what we need to do and things. But at the end of the day, I think we want to be really busy being the defending champion for the 100 race. But it's part of the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big deal for our team coming to the 100th running of the Indy 500 because it's Roger's 50th year in racing. So, um, not that we don't put pressure on in every year that we come here, but this year would be a real special occasion to win the 100th running. So, really looking forward to it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of attention on it, and I think it'll be a really great, successful month for IndyCar. And for me, I mean, honestly, I'll be just focused on the race itself, getting the car good, all that stuff. I mean, I think if you're thinking about the fact that it's 100th running and all that, you're not focusing on the right stuff. IndyCar in general, if anyone who watches it gets addicted to it, I mean, it's such a great sport, such great racing, close racing. The way the cars are built now, you can be more aggressive. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best racing in the world. There's no open wheel racing like ours, and the parity amongst the whole field is really good. So it's obviously close racing, and 9 different winners last year. It's what more could you ask for? Same goals every year is obviously win the 500 and win the championship. It's a team goal and my personal goal.
And what do you think your chances are of getting those accomplished?
When you drive for Roger, you have a very good chance of doing both every year we come here. Obviously, it's very tough, but we're given the equipment and all the stuff to do it. So.
It's a celebration of 100, the 100th anniversary of the world's greatest race. I mean, this is American tradition. It's the biggest single-day sporting event in the world, and our automotive industry is based around it. This is if you see any of the advancements and developments in the automobile over the years, from the time it's invented till now, it's been tested or raced at this track. It's the on-track product. I mean, there's no other racing in the world where you have the capability of 15 different guys going out on any given Sunday and winning. It just doesn't happen. And it is a true driver's championship. Road course, street course, oval, super speedway, short oval. There's nothing like it in the world. And the competition, the on-track product, I think speaks for itself. So it's a great series, great to be in it, but man, it's hard to win. The tangibles on it, I mean, obviously the Yard of Bricks, the pagoda, the landmarks like that, and the tradition, the history of it. The best thing is to go into the museum, learn the history of the track, learn the history of this race, and by the time you get out of it, guaranteed you'll be a fan for life.
I don't think of 100th as a round number, although it is. I think of it as absolutely historic, and so many people know about the Indianapolis 500-mile race, but when you tell them this is the 100th running of this event, it it gets your attention. And it's an historic moment that it's very clear from ticket sales people are going to want to attend. What we're trying to do for the Verizon IndyCar Series is make the 100th event spectacular by every measure, engage more people all throughout the city and state and the region, increase the television audience and the talent that will be part of ceremonies and all those things we can do here, but also reach into the community and engage more people at doing things that they may not even come to the race. But when I was a kid, my family had a reunion and we listened to the race on the radio. Everybody's got their tradition. Well, it might be putting checkered flags up on your porch. It might be having your family's reunion or barbecue. If you're a business, it might be trying to figure out how to decorate the place, bring speakers out. We've got 60 surrogate speakers now that are combing the state in every county, giving talks about the history and the 500 and what's going on now. So we're just trying to really re-engage with our community in a big way. So that's here, and then how does that help the IndyCar Series? Because that's a big part of the objective, is to have this halo effect of such a big occasion create value for all the stakeholders, our promoters and their events and our paddock and the drivers and team owners. So we've done this marketing work that kind of presents the series as epic and historic. And the fact is, if somebody's set a record at the 500 or is driving in it in the 100th edition, they're going to be at all the IndyCar Series races as well. So we're trying to develop these facts and these themes so that local promoters of our races can kind of get the halo effect of an epic year in the history of the 500 and its relevance to them. Real good reception so far. We're spending more money with them on advertising in their markets to sell tickets, to expose more people to their events. And you just look at everything you can do. So we're talking a little bit about marketing, but it's a pretty long list of technical initiatives that are coming into play this year. Some of them for Super Speedway, some of them for the rest of our races. There's just a lot going on. It's all about ready to kick off. A lot of our history is in our museum and our Hall of Fame. A lot of it isn't stuff you touch. A lot of it is the ceremonies, and you're going to hear back home again in Indiana. You know about the chugging of the milk by the winner at the end. You're wondering who's going to do the national anthem and the green flag and all that protocol. What's the flyover going to look like? So a big part of it really is intangible, and you can't keep it, but it's the traditions. For Wimbledon, it's the Duke coming out to give the plate to the champion at the end. It's just part of what that event's all about. So we're real focused on our traditions, not our habits, but those things that are fundamentally about our history and how to show them off in special ways. I'm not going to announce those today. About 100 days out from the 100th, we'll start putting a little meat on the bone. But some of it is trumpeting what's been going on. There may be some new things that happen at the track that will involve the crowd. That'll be fun too. First of all, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's scale and it's tradition, it's history. If you have a pulse and you're standing where we're standing or anywhere really out here, and you're part of what becomes on race day here at the track the second largest city in the state of Indiana, it takes your breath away. It's just an incredible buzz and feeling that I don't know how you get legally anywhere else. And those are all the trappings of it. Then the race starts, and our races have been spectacular. Lots of lead changes passing throughout the field. I think those cars, when Pablo Montoya won this year, and I was with him at Victory Lane, he had the milk in his hand, the wreath around his shoulders, and he brought up the Aero Kits, which was a development that was made to allow, among other things, the car to be more responsive. And he said, with the Aero Kits today, I could do anything I wanted with that car. And it means that the style of racing is going to be really aggressive, really close, competitive. And boy, I'd put the product on the sport on the track up against any other style of motorsports. To kids, I'd say it's extreme sport. I mean, what they're doing is in some ways crazy. It's exciting, it's adrenaline packed. You have no idea what's going to happen. Somebody can, like Juan Pablo last year, can come from the back of the grid and drive through the field and win it. So I just think it's adrenaline packed, sport that's in this place in a setting that's all about tradition, and it's a pretty cool combination. Well, when we think about safety, there's 2 or 3 ways to think about it. One is our fans. This, racing is dangerous, and boy, the last thing in the world we want is to do anything that we want to prevent our fans from being exposed to any danger. And so we've just put up, I can't remember how many hundreds of miles, a new fence, retaining fence, to ensure that that's better. And a second area is for the drivers themselves, and that is constant, where there will be half a dozen innovations this year. We're tethering pieces of the car, of the chassis or the aero kit, so that when there is an incident and pieces break off, less of them are airbound, less chance of debris hurting a driver by tethering those parts to the car. We're changing the floor, putting on what's called a dome skid, so that the cars are more stable when they start to go sideways. If a car does get backwards, even at very high speeds, flaps deploy on the back part of the car that tend to keep the car on the ground even at higher speeds. There's a very long list, but that is the history of this place. It started out as a proving ground for the automobile technologies. In terms of safety, the safer barrier, which is these walls that they may look like concrete, but they're not, and they absorb energy to some extent to make it safer and reduce issues when cars hit the walls. That's now common at ovals, at least, all over the world. The Hans device that wraps around the driver's head and neck to protect him, the helmets, it just goes on and on and on. It's part of what we do. We think part of the IndyCar brand is speed. The cars are going faster here than any other form of racing except drag racing, which is in a straight line. And so it's incumbent on us, just as we're pursuing the evolution of speed, to do all we can to make it as safe as possible. Just really looking forward to 2016. For fans of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway or the IndyCar Series, there's a lot new, and yet we will celebrate a lot of great traditions, and we think it will be an epic year.